Hi guys, this is Stuti Gogi. In case you are listening this voice for the very first time, you can go check out my social media handles. And this is season 4 of Stuti Speaks. And today I have a very special guest with me whose name is Mudit. And first I'll tell how I connected with Mudit. So we connected via LinkedIn. Thanks for messaging me and thanks for collaborating with me on this podcast. I saw your profile, find it really interesting, and I want to compliment you that you directly messaged and we kind of collaborated. I don't
Yeah.
like when people beat around the bush and there is a lot of to and fro happening. So thank you so much. Really, really appreciate how graceful it was. So thank you, Mudit, for that. You are currently working as an associate director in BFSI
Yeah.
domain,
Yes.
also
Yes.
a
Yes.
TEDx speaker, and many other personality. बहुत सारे parts हैं. There are other things as well of your persona. So हम धीरे धीरे पॉडकास्ट में इसके बारे में बात करेंगे. एक बार आप अपना इंट्रो दे दो, मैंने कुछ मिस किया तो ऐड कर दो, फिर वहां
Huh.
से हम कन्वर्सेशन को आगे लेके जाते हैं.
Right. 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 So, thank you so much, Stuti, for inviting me to this podcast, and it is such an honor and pleasure to be here today on this podcast because I've been following this podcast series since a while now. I won't say I've
Wow.
been following this since so long, but yes, since when I'm following, it has been an amazing one for sure. I see a lot of speakers who are coming in and giving their different perspectives, which are really interesting because it is not limited to one particular segment of podcasts. I see that people are coming from varieties of background and they talk on your shows, and at the same time your vlogs around different places, be it in India and or be it in outside of India. It is really amazing for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you so much for having me today. um, I would like to introduce myself. I think you have introduced me pretty well, so I don't think I have anything left to say, but yeah, I am Mudit and I'm basically a Gujarati guy, and have completed my masters in 2016, and then I shifted to Pune, and I've been working into IT since then. And yeah, technology and sports are some of my favorite topics always to talk on, at the same time to explore something new into. So yeah, quite interesting uh, podcast, I think it's going to be.
Great, great. So हम जब discuss कर रहे थे what we are going to talk about, I think there's something that intrigues you, which is how like about education outside India and inside India.
Yes.
So maybe I know that you might have done some research work on that. So आज हम उसके बारे में बात करते हैं. But before that, I want to ask this one question to you. Uh, you are already working in IT, doing really good. You know BI as well,
Yeah.
being a good speaker too. So, what intrigued you to do this research in detail? What was your point that I want to learn? That I want to deep dive into this topic.
Yes. So स्तुति बेसिकली कैसा है कि मैं हमेशा देखता रहता हूँ since I'm part of this journey at the same time while I was in college as well, that people go abroad for multiple things. I see a lot of reasons are there, but again, at the same time, I don't see a prominent reason in certain people. ऐसा बोलते हैं कि मुझे जाना है, एंड आई थिंक उनको बस जाना ही होता है. इट इज नॉट लाइक दे आर गोइंग विथ अ विल or some goal. So this particular research or some sort of interest that I developed during my college was basically due to some of my friends. They actually went abroad, and I mean, they came back, and I see them right now. They are suffering badly. So I always have a word with them. Not only my friends. At the same time, if somebody asks me that कि मुझे abroad जाना ही चाहिए या नहीं जाना चाहिए. So from the research point of view, I can definitely say I've been to a lot of examples कि जो ये लोग बोलते हैं कि हमें abroad जाना है, be it for study or be it for any sort of career growth, be it anything. But at least what I see in some of the cases is कि उनका गोल क्लियर नहीं होता है. सो दे जस्ट थिंक कि जाना है तो जाना है, बाकी का जो होगा वो देखा जाएगा। सो आई हैव सीन कि अ, अ, इतना बड़ा एक मैग्नीट्यूड है लोगों का, आई वुड से, इन टर्म्स ऑफ नंबर्स, कि जो इंडिया छोड़ के जा रहे हैं, दे आर रियली ग्रेट टैलेंट्स। सो आई मीन, as long as India is a growing country, I don't think there is any sort of insecurities, or there shouldn't be any sort of, I would say, downfalls of doing the things in India, be it a study or be it a work. So that basically ignited me to do some sort of, I would say, research, and
Research.
yeah, on
Okay.
this particular topic. Yeah.
तो इस पे अभी डीप डाइव करेंगे प्रॉस एंड कॉन्स पे, बट बिफोर दैट देयर समथिंग व्हिच केम टू माय माइंड. देयर इज अ यूट्यूबर आई फॉलो एंड आई एक्चुअली हैव लर्नड अ लॉट फ्रॉम दिस गाय. His name
Hmm.
is Prakhar Gupta.
Okay.
He's Columbia pass out.
Yeah.
He passed out from Columbia University. So uh, I mean, the more I've heard people who are pass out for especially Ivy League colleges and things like Harvard or something like that, they came back to India. They're working really good. But the point is, they are saying that they went. The main concern for them was exposure and not the study. The main
Okay.
concern from them was to live out of comfort zone so that they can build up from there. Because this guy also, which I'm talking about,
Right.
had very low confidence, had things going on in his life, and was forced to do a CA, which he didn't want to do. So,
Hmm.
as a part of, I mean, he wanted to go out and check out and started exploring new things. Obviously, he came back now doing really great in India, doing like a lot of good things. But my point, and we can touch this in our discussion, that some
Yes.
people go only for exposure and then they do things bigger which are coming after coming back. So now let's start the discussion from your end. Like, what
Yeah.
do you feel about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it totally differs on case to case basis. Not everybody is completely clueless that what is going to happen once I go there, and even though they are not sure about their career. So, again, I'm not against this completely, that nobody should be going outside India. But why I'm saying this is because if you look at my journey, I mean, I started being a Gujarati medium guy. मेरी पढ़ाई पूरी गुजराती मीडियम में ही हुई है,
Hmm.
not even in English medium school. So till 12th standard, if somebody used to ask me that what is the name of electric current, right now, if people are saying, or self inductance probably, तो मैं उनको मतलब नहीं बता पाता था. आई वॉज लाइक a very shy guy who never used to speak English so fluently. And that too happened in the college as well. That I correlated a lot of stuffs which I saw on the blackboard, and used to correlate it, having those old school Gujarati medium books in my uh, cupboard, and I used to take those out and see what exactly professor wrote on the board. So वहाँ से जर्नी बेसिकली स्टार्ट हुआ. स्टिल आई नेवर फेल्ट कि मेरा कुछ ऐसा गोल है कि मैं अब्रॉड जाऊंगा. एंड आई मीन, fortunate enough that after my MTech I was able to get a placement through the college itself, and that was a managed service company. So I mean, they generally send their candidates, and I was performing quite well over there as well. कि वो लोग भेजते हैं ऑन साइट के लिए.
Okay.
बट अगेन, आई नेवर ट्राइड फ्रॉम माई एंड स्पेसिफिकली कि भाई मुझे जाना ही जाना है. एक वो होता है ना कि हमको एक टाइप का मेनिया हो जाता है कभी कभी कि हमको जाना ही जाना है. आई हैव एग्जांपल्स फ्रॉम माय फ्रेंड्स जिनका कैसा है कि बिकॉज उनके कोई चाचा के मामा के लड़के या किसी पड़ोसी के लड़के को जाना है, and he went there, he was successful, so correlating his success with my future, that is where the problem starts. वो वहाँ चले तो जाते हैं, but again, it takes a little while for them to get settled in there, क्योंकि यहाँ पे बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो हैं वो easily avail कर पाते हैं। वहाँ पे जैसे ही जाते हैं, it's a different currency, it's a different culture. So as soon as they go there, they would definitely feel a complete outrage in terms of culture. तो एक वो जो शॉक लगता है उसकी वजह से एक डिफरेंस क्रिएट हो जाता है एंड
मतलब वो प्रेशर सस्टेन करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है।
exactly so I mean I would definitely say, like the example that you have given, the guy who studied from a reputed university and came back to India and he explored a lot many things, so I appreciate that. There is nothing wrong in that, but again, ऐसा कहना कि भाई वो बंदा गया है इस वजह से सारी स्टूडेंट कम्युनिटी जो है, और आई वुड से 50% ऑफ द स्टूडेंट कम्युनिटी जो है वो वहां जाके सक्सेसफुल होगी ही होगी, दैट इज समथिंग विच आई कैन नॉट डाइजेस्ट फॉर श्योर।
ओके।
तो ये एक चीज है। दूसरा एस्पेक्ट ये है कि लोग ये चूज करके जाते हैं कि नहीं, हमारा एक गोल है कि या तो हमें बेटरमेंट ऑफ लाइफ चाहिए। अगेन, इफ यू आर स्टेइंग इन अ मेट्रो सिटी और थोड़ा पोल्यूशन ज्यादा है तो पीपल ऑलवेज फील कि नहीं वहाँ की हवा शुद्ध है, though it is, I mean, not completely right thing, but again people always have that assumption in their mind कि मैं कनाडा जाऊंगा, मैं अमेरिका जाऊंगा, यूके जाऊंगा, वहाँ पे I will get a fresh air, I will get these sort of perks. So we will definitely go through all these aspects when we will discuss the pros and cons, but I would say कि एक चीज की वजह से you just decide your future about whether being in India or whether to go abroad. That is something which I wouldn't say is a viable thing always.
So let's deep dive into pros and cons now. But yeah, I kind of understood where you're coming from. And मुझे बीच में वो, if you have seen the movie Donkey, it's Donkey
Yeah,
only, right? वो
correct, correct.
मुझे थोड़ी सी याद आ रही थी कि yeah, when it was like कि ठीक है क्योंकि सब जा रहे हैं गांव से तो हम भी जाएंगे चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए
Right.
कैसे भी हो जाए। हाँ, एंड आई वुड से कहीं ना कहीं मुझे भी इनिशियल इयर्स ऑफ माय लाइफ था ये चीज कि आई वांट टू गो अब्रॉड, मे बी सेटल इन,
Yeah,
नॉट फॉर स्टडिंग, क्योंकि स्टडी के टाइम तक तो मुझे अवेयरनेस ही नहीं थी तब, मे बी इन ईरा आई वाज बोर्न इट वाज नॉट दैट मच ऑफ अवेयरनेस, शायद इस जेनजी टाइप में होती तो मे बी आई वुड हैव गॉन। बट आफ्टर दैट आल्सो आई वांटेड, आई ट्राइड पीटी, I tried, I mean, not IELTS, I tried PT. I wanted to move out for sure. But then things happened and it didn't work. And I'm so glad it didn't, because now I understand that that was not my path. And obviously, I'm more happier here. But yeah, let's deep dive into pros and cons. So, what do you think
sure,
are the? Let's start with the pros of. Let's start with the pros of going,
sure,
and then we'll
sure.
come to the other side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Just a second, I will plug in the
Yeah,
charger.
sure, not a problem. Podcast का यही फायदा होता है. We can be as candid as it can be,
Correct,
and
correct.
it
Yeah, yeah.
still works. Yeah.
Right, right.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, हम लोग डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि what would be the pros and what would be the cons. Now, I would suggest कि where when we are discussing the pros and cons, on what basis we are discussing it, right? We should have certain parameters in mind कि सिर्फ goal नहीं. There are a lot of other things which we should inculcate while discussing pros and cons. So first parameter is always future, कि future कैसा रहेगा. um, having said that, in India, I mean, nowadays we can see that there is a huge opportunity around the education space, which is a heft of, I would say, online courses have come up. So Indian universities have started collaborating with multiple reputed universities, even from abroad, and they are actually coming to India. So ऐसा नहीं है कि इंडिया में कुछ नहीं हो पा रहा है. So that's definitely a pro, I would say, to stay in India.
Okay.
हम सभी लोग स्कूल में पढ़े हैं, कॉलेज में पढ़े हुए हैं, यहीं से हमने सीखा है. सो अगर हम अब्रॉड जा भी रहे हैं तो एट द बैक ऑफ ऑल दीज थिंग्स एक लर्निंग जो हमारी हुई है, जो कि एक प्रोसेस से हम गुजरे हैं, वो एक चीज जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा मैटर करती है. तो अगर हम लोग ये सोच के जा रहे हैं कि वहां जाके हम बेटर कर पाएंगे, तो
Hmm.
ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है, बिकॉज यहाँ पे अभी तक आपने बेटर किया ही हुआ है. तो इट इज नॉट
Okay.
लाइक कि आप वहां जाके कुछ ऐसा तीर मार दोगे, या व्हाट यू विल डू इज समथिंग आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स थिंग. तो इन 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 सर्टेन केसेस इट इज एक्चुअली अ फैक्ट कि लोग करते हैं वहां जाके. बट अगेन वो भी एट अ पॉइंट इन टाइम दे ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड कि घर जो है वो घर ही होता है. So if you
True.
might have gone through certain recent affairs, a lot of companies who were completely based out of India and were started by Indians, they are actually coming back
Hmm.
to India. Like I can give you an
Okay.
example of phone pay.
Okay.
Yeah, so the phone pay basically had their lot of CXOs ka staff in US basically.
Acha.
So
Hmm.
they've decided that they will be operating as a headquarter from India now. So it's a very good thing, first of all.
Hmm.
Now, looking at cons at a first place, I have many cons to discuss. One thing is definitely you can't be in a situation where certain things are happening at your home, and if you are outside matlab, even though you are in
Hmm.
hostel as well, this is something that you will feel little challenging कि घर में कोई बीमार पड़ गया या घर में कोई भी सिचुएशन हो गई where you are actually required.
और आप
This
जा नहीं
is
पा रहे हो.
और आप जा नहीं पा रहे हो. Now in case of abroad, there are 10% chances that you can go back quickly, provided that you have financials. But again, it's gonna cost you for sure. मतलब कोई unwanted ऐसी situation आ गई, then your financials, if you are not financially supported, you might not be able to make it. I mean, I give you a tough example of one of my very close friend. So he went
Hmm.
to Germany for studying his advanced technology career, and suddenly COVID happened,
Hmm.
and unfortunately one of his blood relative passed away. Now during the COVID, Germany से यहाँ आना was absolutely not possible at all,
True.
and still he tried to manage, but he couldn't. I mean, and he posted on Facebook and he was very devastated at that point in time कि मैंने ये सब पढ़ा जिनकी वजह से, जिनके लिए मैं यहाँ आया हूँ.
समझ. Hmm.
So that was a very sad thing for him as well as I mean वो पढ़ के भी हमको भी थोड़ा गिल्ट फील हो रहा था कि this is not something which has happened, right? But we can't do anything
Do
because he was
anything.
abroad. At that point in time, मतलब कोविड का तो एवरीबडी नोस कि कितना फैला हुआ था. तो
Hmm.
वहां पे भी उसको जो कोविड डिटेक्ट हुआ,
वो
ही
अलग.
वाजंट ही वो एक अलग ही चीज थी.
Hmm.
तो इट इज कम्प्लीटली लाइक एट टाइम्स वेरी टफ कि हम लोग जब घर से बाहर रहते हैं तो हमारे लिए ये बहुत ही एक अलग सा माहौल हो जाता है कि भाई हम कैसे आएंगे. दैट्स अ फर्स्ट कॉन. सेकंड थिंग, ऑब्वियसली हम लोग being Indians, we always stay in joint families, or maybe at least we have a lot of occasions where family get-togethers happen. And uh, apart from all the social talks, we always have to connect with
Oh,
a lot of our आई मीन फर्स्ट कजिन्स और ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं जिनसे हम कनेक्ट कर पाते हैं. वंस यू गो आउटसाइड वो एक कनेक्ट जो है वो थोड़ा डिस्टेंट हो जाता है. तो
agreed.
पीपल might not be able to speak uh, I mean upfrontly, or I would say clearly, and there would be a communication gap for sure between them. तो एक डिस्टेंस आ जाता है. तो वो एक कॉन है. Another main con which I always see is the finance.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
उसमें दो चीज़ें हैं. एक चीज़ है कि people go outside just because their friends went there and जाना ही जाना है करके जाते हैं. And they don't think around their financials कि भाई फाइनेंस का क्या सिचुएशन रहेगा. और दे माइट हैव डन सम सॉर्ट ऑफ एनालिसिस. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि उन्होंने नहीं किया है, बट वी नेवर नो व्हाट सिचुएशन मे अकर इन फ्यूचर. और वो सब मिला
Hmm.
जुला के
Hmm.
ये एक चीज तो रहती है कि अगर कभी कोई ऐसी सिचुएशन आ गई, लाइक वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड वेंट टू यूके.
Hmm. Hmm.
तो यूके में उसने 5 साल का वीजा था. तो ही I mean had a visa, and when he wanted a renewal, the Brexit
Hmm.
happened. We all know the
Hmm.
Brexit was like so crucial for all the people who were in UK or Europe.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
he was on basically UK का European visa था उसके पास. So he had
Hmm.
to come back immediately due to
Hmm.
Brexit. क्योंकि he wasn't allowed to stay even in UK because he had a European visa, and because he
Hmm.
was in UK, nobody was willing to give him the European visa at that point in time because of the Brexit.
Hmm. Got it. Hmm.
अब उसके सर पे I mean he had a very tough loan of some 20-25 lakhs, and
Hmm.
it was suddenly a nightmare which started for him.
Hmm.
Fortunately, later on the situations were stabilized, and now he's doing quite well. But again, this is an example where people don't
Hmm.
think around the future. And
Hmm.
इस चीज का ऐसा है कि these things are completely unprecedented.
Hmm. Hmm.
We never think कि ये होगा. But
वो
again,
अपने
at the
आप हो.
same time वो अपने आप हो जाता है और हमारे साथ ही होता है.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it is quite a crucial thing to understand, and at the same time to predict कि भाई हम वहाँ जाएंगे. So what would be the worst most scenario,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
So that is a con. There are a lot of other factors as well
Hmm. Hmm.
जिसमें ये लोग चले जाते हैं कि मतलब विदाउट थिंकिंग ऑफ देयर फैमिली एज वेल कि भाई नहीं मुझे वहाँ पे बेटर लाइफस्टाइल मिलेगी. एंड देन दे नेवर कम बैक टू इंडिया फॉर आई मीन फ्यूचर. मोस्टली ये लोग यही कहते हैं कि भाई मेरे पास वहाँ पे बेटर लाइफ है, व्हाई वुड आई कम बैक टू इंडिया, राइट? सो दैट इज अगेन नॉट अ ग्रेट थिंग आई वुड से.
Hmm. Hmm.
क्योंकि वही लोग ऐसा सोचते हैं कि हमारे पास मतलब इंडिया में वी डोंट हैव इनफ रिसोर्सेस. सो व्हाट वी विल डू इज हम लोग वहाँ जाएंगे, वी विल कलेक्ट ऑल द रिसोर्सेस, definitely in terms of finance, to the priority one, but other resources as well. And once we have a well established connect over there, we will come back to India and live a beautiful fancy life the way we want. मुंबई में एक स्काई स्क्रैपर के अंदर प्रोबेबली इन 42nd फ्लोर पे एक घर होगा, मे बी अ पेंट हाउस. आई वुड बुक इट इन प्रोबेबली साउथ बॉम्बे, एंड दैट्स इट. दैट विल बी अ गुड लाइफ. सो दैट थिंकिंग इज नॉट प्रॉपर आई वुड से. उसमें आपको बहुत सारी चीजें और भी जोड़ के तोड़ मरोड़ के यू विल हैव टू एनालाइज, एंड देन यू विल हैव टू डिसाइड कि भाई ये चीजें भी हो सकती हैं, राइट?
Hmm.
सो आई मीन वो 42nd स्टोरी वाला जो है घर, वहां तक पहुंचने में इट इट इज नॉट जस्ट लाइक कि मैं ग्राउंड फ्लोर से लिफ्ट में चला जाऊंगा,
बहुत
and it will be a very fast sort of elevator which will uh, uh, drop me on the 42nd floor under a minute. It's not
hmm,
about taking that risk under a minute. You are taking that risk under a minute and you are spoiling your 42 years, I would say,
yes.
which are next.
जो सॉरी मैंने इंटरप्ट तो नहीं किया, आई होप सो, बट मेरे को जो आपकी बात करने से जो समझ में आ रहा है, जो मेरा पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है ऑन द
Mhm.
थिंग, आई एम नॉट डिनाइंग दैट पीपल हु आर गोइंग दे आर लिविंग अ फुलफिलिंग लाइफ, गुड फॉर देम, वेरी ग्रेट,
Yes,
बिकॉज I have my friends, family, relatives living, and they are living a good life, so great. But the point that you are telling is sometimes the investment is not worth it. Sometimes the ROI is not as much as we expected. Sometimes in
exactly.
forms of emotions, sometimes in form of money, and sometimes in form of other factors. Right?
Exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
Yes, definitely. So it is not uh, always true कि वहाँ जाने से हमको फायदा नहीं ही होगा. Now,
Hmm.
if we are discussing around the pros of the same as well, I mean, वहाँ जाओगे, you will get definitely a different currency salary, which
Hmm.
is going to help you to
Hmm.
pay your debts that you have taken in case if you are uh, having that kind of situation. So you will be able to pay it easily. Like some of my friends went there, they work like anything there with the college. उनका एक साल का कोर्स होता है, and they work in some stores, some other
Hmm.
stuff. They do some part-time jobs. Definitely
Hmm.
वहाँ पे labor laws are very strict, that they don't allow students to work for more than certain hours, because वो उनकी studies पे impact करेगा. But still they
Correct.
work. And I mean, मोस्टली वहाँ के जो बेसिक खर्चे हैं उनके, वट एवर देयर स्पेंडिंग्स आर, दे आर एबल टू मैनेज दोस. सो as soon as they get the job, they are able to pay out their debts in probably no time, within a year or two, or maybe a 5 year down the lane, because generally education loans which they offer are of 10 years and at the standard rate of 10% in a simple interest through banks. So that is one of the very good thing over there. Second thing is tax schemes are very
Hmm.
transparent. Again, transparency as in uh, at times beneficial. वहाँ पे
Hmm.
कि आप everybody will pay the flat tax. There is no certain sort of, I would say, regime which is there for uh, these bands of salary, those bands of salary. Obviously that depends on country to country, but many of the countries have very flat and very easy tax regime when
Hmm.
it is compared to India. So they know कि मुझे इतना कमाना है, मुझे इतना सेव करना है, and I'll be able to sustain with this much amount of money. तो एक ये चीज डेफिनेटली रहती है कि क्या एक आउटलुक रहेगा when I will be there, and probably my beloved ones will be in India, and I want to bring them to that country. So down the lane, it is very much in favor of them at times as well. कि उनको ये चीज चाहिए, तो they will be able to afford easily as compared to India.
Hmm.
कि मेरे को
Hmm.
iPhone चाहिए. I mean, there were times
Yeah.
when I joined my
मुझे
first
मन
company,
बात है.
and people were like, I mean, iPhone latest model is something which is a status symbol. I mean,
True.
there is a buzz around the same thing right now as well. But nowadays, I mean, a lot of other phones have come around.
True.
But if, I mean, if somebody is 90s kid like me, I mean, they can understand that iPhone was a sensation at that point in time. So किसी को आईफोन लेना है, यूएस से आ रहा है, उससे मंगवा के, एंड दे विल कीप इट विद देम, एंड आई मीन जस्ट शो देम अराउंड लाइक अ बॉस. एंड तो वो सारी चीजें जो है इम्पैक्ट करती हैं. इफ यू आर स्टेइंग इन इंडिया, यू आर जस्ट a graduate and you are getting some managed service, probably in a placement, or maybe any first job, I would say. So you can एक्सपेक्ट कि वो बंदा जो वहाँ से उसने काम किया है, the similar sort of educations we are also learning, but again he is able to get some perks which we are not getting over here. uh, Again, there are various factors to that. We won't deep dive into that. So that is one thing which is really a I would say pro for people who are going outside. And I discussed already, though some of myths are there around the same, कि इंडिया में पॉल्यूशन ज्यादा है, हम शुद्ध हवा के लिए वहां जा रहे हैं. So I mean, nowadays companies are in a lot of parts of India. So if you are not feeling comfortable probably in Delhi or probably in Bangalore due to traffic, you can actually work from somewhere, right?
या अब तो वर्क फ्रॉम होम कल्चर बहुत ज्यादा
Exactly.
कॉमन हो गया, सो या.
Correct. I mean, one of my friend had that kind of dilemma where she was placed into a company, and they were allowing work from home to her. So उसने क्या किया कि she went to Rishikesh. It's a very nice place. I mean,
आई नो, या.
you don't have too much chaos around the sun.
I've been to Rishikesh, and the place I stayed had a hostel or something side by, and there
Yeah,
were people who were working on Friday night. They were sitting on beanbags,
yeah,
logged into your MacBooks. They were eating, they were working, they were doing everything.
exactly.
So it's very normal to be a digital nomad these days. Yeah.
Correct.
Sorry, you were saying something. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically that's the scenario which happened with her as well. तो उसने वहाँ पे अपना पूरा मतलब her brother was a designer, so उसने इंटीरियर डिजाइन कर दिया मस्त एकदम से, स्टूडियो अपार्टमेंट जैसा घर बना दिया, and they were doing like quite well over there. तो वो भी and in fact that increased their productivity as well. वो भी एक चीज है.
Also, Joe, if you are earning as per a MNC, like as per a Mumbai or Delhi or that level, so that also the cost of living also goes down because
Yeah,
those cities are having very less cost of living.
absolutely. Yeah, that is true. So that thing is also considerably quite well when we are talking around pros. वहाँ पे वो चीज़ है. Definitely I can say कि somebody who is working in Manhattan and spending on a lot of coffees in a Times Square is not going to save more bucks than somebody who is actually placed in a company which is already in Manhattan, and he's living in some
New
rural
Jersey,
areas, New
rural
Jersey,
area,
or you can, yeah, exactly. I mean,
even
being
deeper,
Gujju, I can
even
understand कि लोग न्यू जर्सी रहना ज्यादा पसंद करते हैं, उनको गरबा वरबा
correct,
खेलने को मिलेगा, ये सब होगा. बट अगेन
true.
यही चीज है कि आई मीन मोस्टली people are so curious around the lifestyle which they are living. So वो डेफिनेटली एक फैक्टर है जो प्रोस पे
Factor.
इम्पैक्ट करता है.
सो बेसिकली जो भी हमारा डिस्कशन हुआ है, थोड़ा सा मैं समराइज करने की कोशिश करूंगी, फिर यू कैन ऐड टू इट. मुझे जो
Yeah,
समझ में आ रहा है, द मोर यू आर सेइंग दिस, यू नीड टू वे योर pros and cons like really well and be more concentrated on what exactly your goal is rather than भेड़ चाल में कि भाई क्योंकि सब कर रहे हैं तो मुझे करना है, या फिर
exactly.
क्योंकि तुम्हें विजन क्लियर नहीं है कि किस लिए करना चाहते हो तो इसीलिए करना. देयर आर पीपल हु हैव क्लियर विजन कि मुझे जाना है, आई नीड एक्सपोजर, आई वांट टू कम बैक, मेक इंडिया बेटर, वेरी क्लियर. बट कोई जाना चाहता है, आई वांट टू ट्राई, लेट्स सी व्हाट हैपेंस, वेरी क्लियर कि ट्राई करना है. लेकिन अगर बेसिकली हे वायर कर रहे हो, प्रॉस एंड कॉन को मेजर नहीं कर रहे हो, एंड देन यू आर गेटिंग स्टक इन सिचुएशन जहाँ पे आपके इमोशनल क्वेश्चन पे भी फर्क पड़ रहा है रेदर देन जस्ट योर फाइनेंशियल क्वेश्चन एंड personal things. So there's no point in taking such pain and then uh, I mean, obviously the brain drain is happening. So to wo to health, which is the main
So true.
core of a brain. So yeah, you can now summarize at your, I think, or maybe add to what I said.
Yes. I mean, I could definitely add to what you have said. You have pretty much summarized all the things in a nutshell. For me, it is just three things which you will have to always think around when you are actually going abroad. First is, what exactly is your goal? for going there, and there should be a clear reason behind that why exactly you have set that particular goal. Without reason, if you are setting up a goal, it's actually not a goal, it's just barely a step that you are taking with no brainers.
So true.
So that's the first thing. Second thing is, look at your financials well. Don't go just like हमने डिस्कस किया कि भेड़ चाल चल रही है तो हम भी जाएंगे. Don't go over
Hmm.
there in that dilemma. Otherwise you will
Hmm.
suffer a lot. And
Hmm.
sometimes, I mean, I've seen people uh, giving up on their lives for the
Hmm.
same reason. So that is not good. उससे अच्छा है इंडिया में ही रह लो, आपके पास जॉब है. There are ample amount of jobs. You will initially face certain challenges. LinkedIn पे वो दिखेगा कि लोग आगे
Yeah.
बढ़ रहे हैं और मैं पीछे हो गया हूँ. But that's just a LinkedIn thing. We cannot say कि लाइफ में असल में ऐसा हो रहा है. So
So true.
LinkedIn
Hmm.
and social media थोड़े टाइम के लिए you can avoid until you are at the level where you want to be. That is the
Got
second
it.
thing. And third thing, which is uh, I would say a summary or a nutshell thing which describes everything, is always think around the worst case rather than the best case. I mean, I'm not saying that you always be the pessimistic in a way कि नहीं ही होगा. Negativity मत रखो, but again at the same time don't be over optimistic. You think around
Hmm.
certain
Got it.
situations, you have certain uh, realms of decision, I would say, and try to analyze all from different perspectives कि ये होगा तो ये ऐसे हो जाएगा, probably कुछ अलग सा हो गया तो ऐसे मैनेज कर लेंगे. So those things you will have to consider, and then you go over there. So unless you have these three things in mind, you probably are not going to succeed. If you are just going for just like I said, a no brainer कि मुझे जाना ही जाना है और देखते हैं वहां
Hmm.
जाके क्या होता है, नहीं होगा तो हाँ. If you have a strong financial and somebody is really I would say so keen to explore the world,
Hmm.
उसके
Hmm.
लिए these things are like, I mean, I'm not saying कि ये talk, or I would say this talk is focusing on people who are actually very rich in terms of financials and they want to explore the world. This talk is definitely not going to stop them at all.
Improving them.
But again, it is just for people who are actually, I mean, on a verge of deciding based on certain factors कि भाई मुझे बाहर जाना चाहिए इस वजह से या उस वजह से. So I would say that think around it. If you feel कि नहीं इसका रिजल्ट जो है वो पॉजिटिव है, and there is a pure math behind it, you are not going to do any sort of rocket science, it is not that tough.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you can easily do it. I mean, there is
Hmm.
no uh, ऐसा
Hmm.
कुछ है कि भाई मुझे जाना ही जाना है तो क्यों मुझे रोका जा रहा है, नहीं
Hmm.
जाना है तो why I'm being forced to go outside.
Hmm. Hmm.
So at the end, it is your decision. But again,
Hmm.
consider these
Hmm.
factors
True.
so well.
So well. ठीक है, so we have reached towards the end of the conversation now. तो 2 minute or we can talk about how was your TEDx speaking experience? How was
Yeah.
that?
So it was really amazing. I would say TEDx speaking always gives you a lot of confidence at first point. Um, I have always tried myself to be a good speaker, at the same time, a good public speaker, confident public speaker, I would say. There are always chances that I have missed when I was actually given certain authority to speak in front of a matured crowd, I would say. So
Hmm.
just because of my English, I missed those, because उस टाइम पे मेरी इंग्लिश इतनी अच्छी नहीं थी. एट द सेम टाइम आई वाज वेरी आई वुड से
Shy.
क्वाइट एंड शाय
Hmm.
इनफ कि मैं
Hmm.
नहीं बोल पाता था. So धीरे धीरे I got bits and pieces collected and got the courage to speak in front of public. So public speaking is something which really improves when you are a TEDx speaker. I mean, I would say still it improves. You are not at that level ever if you don't have a zeal to learn. Because TEDx speaker banna is, again, I would say कि it's a good thing, but I don't consider it as a hotshot achievement कि TEDx speaker बन गए तो it is just like कुछ ऐसा
Big deal.
काम कर दिया, big thing you have done. You have done a good job for sure, because TEDx पे बोलना, it's a very I would say a gut thing, I would say.
Good thing. True that. True
Yeah.
that.
So I spoke around the same regarding languages, whatever challenges I faced during my schooling. And so I'm definitely sure that as soon as the link becomes available, I'm going to share along.
Great. Great.
So, yeah.
Great. So, very good. Amazing discussion. Thanks, Mudit, for being my guest, and thanks for giving your great insight. So, I really had a good time. Hope you had a good time too.
Absolutely, Stuti. It was just like I said, it was immense pleasure for me to be on this show. I'll keep following this podcast
Thank
for
you.
as long as it is going to get continued. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so
It's
much.
really an amazing chance for me to again speak in front of a good orator and at the same time speaker like you.
Thank you.
And in future, if there is any sort of opportunity to collaborate, I would be more than happy to
Sure,
collaborate.
I will. Yeah, sure. I'll surely keep you posted. So thanks for collaborating on this one. And thanks, listeners, for listening to us. And on that note, we can end it right here. Stay
Sure.
happy, stay blessed, and most importantly, stay grateful. I'll see another one. Bye. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mudit. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.